What's up everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and welcome to some Forza Horizon 5 once again. And in today's video I get to show you guys what the best possible cars for racing are in B-Class. Now I'm going to show you guys pretty much a tune for every single one of these and tell you where to use them and stuff like that, so that's what's happening for today's video. I'm going to just stop because that was pretty much it with this car. This is the Porsche 558. This is a little bit of an honorable mention. We'll start off with this just like in the previous video where I had this car featured for the exact same thing. So I'm going to try and go a little bit quicker with some of the cars that I've already used, but I'm still going to show you the share codes and everything for each one of them, so you guys can use them for yourselves. Now the Porsche 550 that I'm using here, obviously I'll put the share code up on the screen so you guys can use it for yourselves. This is only good, or I guess meta, for one track and one track only, and it's this oval circuit. Now this, again, it was the same for C-Class as well. That's why I decided to put it right at the very beginning, because it's only technically OP or meta for one track. Yeah, that's what I just did there, really quick, because like I said, I didn't want to spend too long doing the same thing as I've done in the previous video. So if I go over to this, and I'll show you guys exactly whose person tune this is, and exactly where he is in the world. Right there, that's this guy's tune, and he is the world record holder on that track. I'm quite a lot further down. I don't think I'm anywhere near these guys at the very top of the leaderboards here. So if we go over to where I am, I'm 207th in the world, with basically just one run done, literally one lap of the track, and that was it. And I managed to get myself in the 207th place in the world. Again, it's the oval track, so it's not going to be that difficult or whatever to drive on. However, this is the best car to use. As you can see, Honda Civic is also here, being really, really good, but the Porsche 550 is the world record holder on this track. Anyway, let's move on to the next car, which again is going to be a very familiar car, but I'm going to try to get through it a little bit quicker since I've already done it in the previous video. Now, this is the next car being used, the big daddy of them all, the one car that keeps showing up over and over again, which I think, in my opinion, this probably is one of the best and most usable cars in this game for a lot of different types of events. And this one is for very tight circuits. It's the same thing as in C-Class and D-Class. This little Sierra 700 RX is unbelievably good. Again, I'll put the share codes for everything up on the screen so you guys can use it for yourselves. But on the Chihuahua circuit that I'm driving on right now, this is, I'm pretty sure, the world record holder for this track. It's just unbelievably good. I mean, we've driven it, like I said in the previous video, in C-Class, and we've realized how good it is. And again, it still just keeps its position as being the best car for tighter circuits. It's just way too good of a car to not include in any of these lists. I mean, it is the best for these tighter circuits. So, the Sierra 700 RX is what's next on this list. I'm going to just try to set one lap with it. One rolling lap, and just to see what sort of time I kind of get with it. Probably should try not crash into that wall. That would probably help. But let's just try to set one rolling lap with this thing real quick and see what happens. It's weird because it actually grips up really, really, really well. Except I need to slow it down a little bit more. This is one of those cars that, again, with every single class, not much really changes. You can just kind of add a little bit of power, and that's pretty much it. Because this does not handle that differently to what it was like back in like D-Class and C-Class. You just are able to have a little bit more power and go with a little bit more speed between all these corners, because the rest of the time it's basically the same car. So that's why I don't really want to spend too long to showcase the one car, because I've done this like in previous videos, and I don't want to show it doing the exact same thing again and again and again. You know, it's the same video basically. So it's still very good. It's still doing the same sort of moves as it was doing before. As if that's a, okay, game. Okay. Now this next car is a bit of an interesting one because you actually haven't had it in any of the previous videos before. But this is the EK Civic, the 1997 Honda Civic Type R that we have. And it is supposed to kind of take over from the Sierra RX or 700 RX that we've had just prior to this. Meaning that when that car isn't fast enough for some of the tracks, this one will take over. So it's still a very good handling car, except this will have a little bit more oomph, I guess, for some of the tracks in the game. So It's something like the Los Jardins or the Tierra Prospera is where this thing kind of shines. Now, let's just send it and see what we can do here with this little Civic. I'm expecting this thing to just... Now, let's see what this little Civic is like. This is still only the first lap, so... Oh my god, yeah, it grips up. Okay, I completely missed the flags as well. I didn't expect this thing to grip up so hard in the corners, but it definitely did. Okay. It's fine, first lap doesn't really count anyway, because it is just a standing start lap, but the Tierra Prospera is where this thing apparently shines. And by that I mean, like, this is the meta car for this track. This is what you should be using in B class when you're racing around on this track. Unfortunately for me, this is my first time driving it, so I have no idea when I should be slowing down or accelerating or whatever, but it looks like you can kind of keep your foot in it for quite a while before you actually need to slow down. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, what about this corner? Just a little dab of the brakes. Yeah, it just turns in really nicely. Very good tune. I mean, of course it is. It's the meta tune. It's the tune that you should be using if you're trying to set any sort of leaderboard times. Alright, let's do a rolling lap and see what sort of time I can get with this thing. Continue. Brakes aren't actually too bad on it either, like when I was slowing down here for this corner. Not too bad. I think this is still front wheel drive, if I remember correctly. Not 100% sure. But the gear ratios are stretched out quite a bit, so I think this thing is able to just put all of its power down without spinning or anything like that. It's the same corner. It's just because I'm like trying to slow down and oversteers quite a bit. It's because I'm braking and I'm understeering into the corner. That is definitely something I need to work on there. I'm just not used to this track and this car, obviously. Especially since it's my first time kind of driving it. Basically, stay on the power more. Don't stay lifted. Don't go into the corners braking. Just kind of stay on the power as much as you possibly can. So basically, try the brake before the corner as much as you can. As you should be doing. So like that first corner I could take so well, like proper corner, because the other ones before were kind of like bends instead of a corner. See? Much better. Much better. As soon as you stay on the power, this is fine. It just pulls you out of the corners. Easy. Very easy car to drive. Yeah, except my stupid brain just didn't think of doing that in the first place. Look at that. Nice, easy, clean lap. No crazy drama or anything, just handles as it should. Putting down a 112. Well, that was fun. Well, I think some of you guys may be familiar with this thing. This is the Ford Coupe. And yeah, this one's going to be a handful because this is a power build, which means I need to turn traction control on because that's what this car is built to be able to do. So this has like over 1,000 horsepower and it's in B class. So you can tell that this is already going to be just an absolute mess to drive. But if you drive it properly, then it will be very, very good. Now, of course, these power builds will only work on the longer sprint tracks, but also the traction control needs to be on. Traction control on these are a must, or else you just won't be able to do anything. So, Try to be as smooth as I possibly can. I should have put on the braking line, but it's fine. We'll try and work without it. Again, just be smooth with this, because I know exactly what will happen if you're not. Even with traction control, if you get it just a tiny bit too lively and the back end steps out, you're not catching that. Like, the traction control won't even catch it. Like, it'll just let you slip and drift. So, yeah. This is... It's hard to drive. It is absolutely horrible to drive. If you're not doing it properly. Let me put on the braking line on. I need to. Driving line. It has to be done, especially with a car like this. Like, with the cars that have, like, the slick tires and all that sort of stuff, perfectly fine. You know, you can drive it off. But with these cars, they have these horrific stock tires. This is just an absolute mess. So again, just be as smooth as you possibly can with these sort of cars. We've had this in D class. I think we skipped it in C class because there was other cars available to be able to just be better than this, but we've had it in D class, of course, and it's just as much of a handful now as it is back then. I don't even know what you can really change to get this thing to be higher in class, because power-wise, I'm pretty sure these are all like max power. And they were in D class as well, you just didn't have any grip, so the way the whole power build thing works is you just slap as much power as you possibly can on a car that has terrible grip, and you kind of just work around it, if that makes sense. You just try to control all that power, whether it's with traction control or with slightly wider tires or being easy on the throttle and the braking. I mean, you still have to be easy on the throttle and the braking, even with traction control. Again, even maneuvers like steering and all that, you still have to be very, very careful. If you do it a bit too harshly, and this thing steps out sideways, like I said, your back end will just slip out. And even with traction control on, it won't like it'll just end up spinning its wheels. Like I said, I've done a video on this in the past, obviously with the D-class cars, and this car being one of them in there. And it just does it. Obviously, I'm a little bit more used to it now, because I know what I need to do to be able to drive this thing, or how I need to drive this thing, but it is an absolute mess. So be prepared to spend a little while getting used to these cars. You're definitely not going to be able to just hop on and go flat out in every single corner and just not really care about what's happening around you. Because these are not those type of cars. You definitely need to concentrate a lot more while driving these compared to like the Sierra cars or the Civic that I've just driven. It's just a different thing to experience. Okay, 228 on my first run. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna be doing loads of these runs because it is so hard to keep it in check. And of course, the faster you go, the more you push it to the limit, and you'll end up making more mistakes and going sideways and stuff like that. So, yeah. For today's video, for now, I think that was a good one. We'll keep that. Let's see where I am in the world, and we'll obviously get to the next guy. I'm gonna guess we're not really that high up on the leaderboards, but I'm gonna guess we're pretty decent. Pretty decent, but not crazy high up. Definitely top 1%, 100%. We're top 1%. I don't even know how many people. 79,000 players in this. Yeah, I mean, you can see all the people using the Ford Coupe here. All these people, the legit people. There's a few. Is there anything else up at the top? Yeah, there's some of these guys over here. The 221s, crazy. If I scroll down to where I am, I don't even remember what time I actually got with this thing. There we go. I'm 76th in the world with that. We'll take it. I will take that. That's not too bad at all. Right, next up we have this, the Toyota Sports 800. Again, another power build, and for a lot longer tracks, or tracks that don't require you to corner as much. But yeah, this thing is an absolute rocket. It makes like 700 horsepower, and it's an absolute, like, just a little tic-tac of a car. Like, it's tiny. So I have a couple of tracks that apparently this should be good on. stuff like the Goliath or power-based circuits like the Playa Azul. Again, huge shout out to Dom for giving us all these cars. So Playa Azul being this one. I feel like I'm going to struggle with this on this track, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Again, it's power build time, so it's going to be difficult to drive. But again, like I said, shout out to Dom for giving it all the tunes over for today's video, and obviously the heads up for what tracks these cars are going to be good for. But yeah, it's going to be a handful, I can already tell. I'm going to do one normal lap, obviously the starting lap, which is this, then I'm going to do one lap. That's of course going to be the rolling lap. This is fast. I mean, like I said, it's like over 700 and something horsepower. I wonder, is this not good for the aerodromos sprint? Or what's the deal? Why is the Ford better than this thing for that track? I wonder. Of course, I'm not the ones that are making these tunes, so those are the type of people that made the tunes for these. They obviously test out all the different cars for all the different tracks, and they're the ones that set the records, pretty much, with these tunes, so I'm not going to argue with them. It's not actually that difficult to drive. I thought it was going to be quite a lot harder to drive. I mean, I'm not really doing pitch perfect cornering here, but I genuinely thought this was going to be a little bit more of a handful and a little bit more difficult to drive, but it is quite a nice little experience. And now, everyone, for the final car for today is this thing. It's even got the old vintage race tires with the white walls on it. But this is it, the Holden Torana. This, again, another power build, but it's built for different tracks, for stuff that where acceleration matters, apparently, like the Horizon Mexico circuit and the Bahia del Plano, I think is what it's called. So yeah, this is what this car is pretty much built for. Alright, let's test it out on the Bahia del Plano track, because I've done so many laps on this track before, and yeah, I'm just used to it. So this is gonna be very interesting to see what it's like. Again, I'll do basically 2 laps. I don't even know what car I actually ended up using before on this thing, but I posted a clean lap, at least. Oh my god, this is so fast. Ugh. Come on. This absolutely rips. I don't even know what sort of time I set before. With what car, but Jesus. Man, even with a mistake, I'm still like flying ahead of whoever my rival is. He has so much more grip than I do, though, I think. Except the acceleration of this thing is nuts. I love just staying at the little mini-map. After you just come out of corners, how quickly this just leaves the beam right behind. Yeah, he has better cornering, I think, because he has better tires than I do, but I'm so much faster. No, don't go sideways, car. Oh no. It's pretty much this lap ruined. Yeah, traction control will give up on me. At a certain point it will. It'll just kind of ignore what I'm doing. And it's like, nah, I'm just gonna turn off now. If you're gonna slide, just slide, you know? that was close. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Come on, car. Keep going, keep going, keep going. There it is. There it is. Oh my god. Should I just leave it? I'm gonna leave it there. I don't even know if I'm like that crazy fast now. Like I said, I don't even know what car I used before. But I feel like because I've done so many laps on this, I think I'm already high-ish up on the leaderboards, so this should be interesting. The thing is though, I think this is because this is the very first event on the whole list of tracks available in Rivals. I think this is gonna have the most cheaters. I think this is gonna be absolutely plagued with cheaters, in my opinion. I think there's gonna be a lot of them. So I want to have a quick look at where I am in the world, but of course, obviously have a look at the top of the leaderboards as well, just to see where everyone else is. And just see this Tirana at the top, because it just is going to be up there, I guarantee it. Alright, B-class, leaderboard time. 508,000. Yep. Yep. Basically what I expected. A load of cheaters at the top of the leaderboards. A lot of them. I'm gonna keep scrolling until I see someone that I recognize. That's mad. Top 1%, there we go. Finally see some people that I recognize. Oh yeah, there's a Tirana there. 47 seconds, and people are doing some serious times. The Toyota Sports 800 also could be good apparently for this. I think I probably should be playing with manual clutch, right? That's probably another thing that I'm messing up with. I'm not doing it properly. Yeah, where am I in the world? I'm probably nowhere near this, right? I did like 50 something seconds. Yeah. 1,600. But I mean, look how close all the scores are where I am. That's so crazy how close these are. Like, I barely need to go like the tiniest bit faster, and I'm up like 100 positions. Yeah, it's pretty mad. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy using these tunes and try to see how far you can get up on the leaderboards if that's your thing. But you can, of course, you can still use these tunes online for racing and all that sort of stuff. But these are mostly just for showing you guys what the best tunes are for rival events, because I still think there's a lot of people in this game that just love going for like leaderboards and stuff like that. Like me, for example. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.